Hey guys, thank you so much for hopping on my YouTube channel. You guys are watching this video and being here with me. Today's topic that I want to talk about is what's your definition of failure? The reason why I wanted to talk about what's your definition of failure, because a lot of people look at failure as like, man, I failed on my marriage. Oh man, I failed on that exam. Or man, I failed on, my business. Or I failed in keeping the promises I make to myself and all that. Listen, I can sit here and say I failed in so many different things inside of my life, and I used to put myself down about it. I used to say, man, like, frig, how could I fail? I'm such a failure. And then I started nitpicking, and I think there's a lot of people out there who's gonna hear this that can relate about this. Then I started to nitpick and put myself down, like, am I not smart enough? Am I not beautiful enough? Like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why didn't that person like me? Why didn't that person see my value? Why can't I see my value? And it's like I start nitpicking, and then it goes deeper and deeper, and then you dig yourself in a deeper and deeper and deeper hole, right? And I think that there's a lot of people out there that in society who, like, define failure as, okay, well, you didn't achieve what society thinks that you should have achieved. You didn't win how society thinks you should have won. At the end of the day, if you're still living, if you're still breathing, if you're still waking up today, you are not a failure, right? You are not a failure. And in God's eyes, it's like you are here for a purpose. You are here for a reason. He is waking you up for a reason, right? Some people look at failures and say, man, I failed, like, I'm not enough. Or I failed and, like, shit, I might as well just throw in the towel. Like, I already fucking failed or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, my whole mindset changed on failure when I understood these two things. At the end of the day, the only man that can judge me and the only person that can judge me is the man up above. Nobody can't pass judgment on me to say, oh, I'm a failure, or I'm failing, or tell me this or tell me that. Fuck other people's opinion. At the end of the day, it matters on the man up above. If he woke you up, if he has you waking up with, you're blessed to be alive, to have gifts on what some other people out there don't have. Either it be you're able to breathe, you're able to see, you're able to hear, you're able to talk, you're able to walk. All those are natural gifts that God has given you because you are not a failure, because he has a higher calling for you. So whatever it is that you think that you failed in life, understand that is just a stepping stone to get you closer to what God really has planned for you, right? At the end of the day, sometimes we want something so badly in life, what we want. We want things to go how we want it to go, right? We want things to go how society thinks it should go. When at the end of the day, it's out of your control. Whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in energy, whether you believe in God, right? It's out of your control. It's out of people's control. It's out of society's control. In the sense of there's a higher calling in what your life may have and what you think that you should have, right? So sometimes we fail in let's make an example. We fail in relationships and we think, oh man, we're a failure. We failed in our marriage, we failed in our relationship, and then we start living in regret. And no, all that was experiences. All that was learning lessons. All that was teachings. Either was teachings on what you need to change within you, what you need to change and level up inside of your life, what you need to change and learn from those experiences to bring you to a better relationship, to bring you to understanding how to deal with people, how to love yourself, or how to appreciate yourself. At the end of the day, that marriage and that relationship was not a failure. It was a teaching. It was a lesson. It was teaching you and helping you to grow into becoming a better version of yourself, to level up inside of life, to get you to where the universe and God wants to take you, to a higher level, right? So when I look at failure, my whole perspective changed on how I looked at failure when I started to say, nah, at the end of the day, it was a teaching. It was helping me to level up, to become a better version of myself, right? And at the end of the day, how I looked at failure is that, why am I judging myself? Why am I judging myself? Why am I letting other people judge me? Why am I thinking to myself, if I'm getting back up, if you're waking up today, you're getting up out of bed, you're waking up today, right? You're not a failure. You're not a failure. You're getting up. Again, God woke you up. He woke you up. Thousands and thousands. I say this in all my videos because it's so true. Thousands and thousands of people are dying while you're sleeping, while you're breathing, while you're waking up, right? Are passing, but yet God woke you up. You're getting up out of bed out of today, right? And at the end of the day, I looked at too, like failure. What is failure? Is failure that, okay, cool, let's make another example. I didn't pass my exam, I'm a failure. Man, I failed like shit. That's the end. Some people fail and they think it's the end of the world. They failed their exam and then they start putting themselves down, that they're not smart enough, they didn't study, they didn't this, they didn't that. Instead of the end of the day, if you're getting back up and you're still putting yourself out there, you're not a failure, because of that you didn't give up. You didn't give up to believe that you can do that exam again. If you're out there and you failed in a past relationship or whatever the case may be, you spend that time to learn, spend that time with yourself, learn about yourself, love yourself, treat yourself good. You're not failing. You didn't fail in that relationship. You learned how you're gonna attract somebody else better, how you're gonna be better to yourself, right? So, and then you're still putting yourself out there. If you're still getting up and you're still putting yourself out there, that's not you failing. You learned your lesson, you learned that teaching, and you're moving forward, onward and forward. You're not giving up on your life. You're not giving up on yourself, right? So at the end of the day, if you're not throwing in the towel on your life and on yourself, you're not a failure. In no areas in your life are you a failure, because you're not throwing in the towel on your life, right? The only way that I could say that I honestly think that you can fail is you just committing suicide and you not being here no more. Like, that's done deal. That's it. You failed, you threw in the towel, that's it, right? Sometimes we have to learn our lessons in different areas in our life to find out what works best for us, right? So those failures are just teaching lessons that are teaching you different areas inside of your life to how to become a better person of yourself, right? Like where there's so many different scenarios that we fail. We think that we fail in life, when actually we're not failing, you guys. It's just teachings. It's just lessons. And when you start looking at those teachings and lessons as blessings, teaching, lessons, blessings, that those are blessings that are helping you to see things that you probably are not seeing, or you are probably not paying attention to, right? So we fail in certain areas in our lives to wake us the fuck up, to say, okay, man, I failed here. Why'd I fail? Is there something that I'm not seeing? Now dig a little bit deeper to see, okay, in that relationship that failed, man, was I like, the way I was treating that other person, is that how I treat myself? Like, am I treating, like, dig deeper, ask the right questions. Don't just fail and then ask yourself questions like, if there's something wrong with me. That's asking the wrong questions, when realistically there's nothing wrong with you. School is in. Every failure that you go through, it's just teaching you. Look at it. If you're in class, you're gonna learn those lessons, and then after that you're gonna keep pushing to graduate. No, right? When you fail inside of school, you fail a test, right? You fail that test, and then the next test you study harder, or you study harder to understand that information that you failed on that test, to get a better grade, right? And to move forward, because why? You want to graduate. It's the same thing in freaking life. Not just because you're not in a physical school doesn't mean that school's not in. School's always gonna be in with life. You're always gonna go through certain curveballs inside of life that you might feel that you failed, but change that perspective on how you're looking at failure. At the end of the day, if something didn't go how you wanted it to go, that's not you failing. It's just a teaching. It's just you learning. It's just you gaining more experience. Sometimes in life, we want things to go exactly how we want it to go, and it's not meant to be. So the universe is gonna keep throwing lessons and curveballs your way, where you're gonna feel like you keep failing when you're not failing. You're just learning. That sometimes I feel like sometimes we have to get smacked around 10 billion times for us to understand that it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be in our life, and it's not meant to go how we want it to go. We so badly want to be in control in every area in our lives, when sometimes honestly you are not in control. You have to go with the flow. You have to understand that life is not happening to me, life is happening for me. Change that mindset as well. Like when it comes to failure, that you go into victim mode. A lot of people, when they fail, we get in this victim mode mentality. Oh man, I'm a failure, I can't do this is not working out for me, this is not, and then we put ourselves in this victim mentality, right? I have been there. I've done that to myself so many times. I'm just like, man, what is wrong with me? When I was inside my relationship, or even up to this day, when stuff goes wrong with that person, and that person's treating me like shit for no friggin' reason, I beat myself up sometimes, and I say, man, like, what am I doing so wrong to this person? Why are they treating me like that? Like I'm trying so hard to be nice to them, and I keep beating myself up, asking myself the wrong questions. At the end of the day, sometimes in life, you will not always have an answer and why people are the way that they are, and you have to learn how to accept that and move on from that, and understand that you have to allow people to just be the way that they are, and just not beat yourself up because somebody else is treating you a certain way. So that's what I mean. I used to beat myself up and think that I'm a failure in the way that the way that I am with that person, because of the way that they were treating me. But at the end of the day, I had to learn that lesson, that at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with me, and I cannot control how somebody decides to treat me, right? Instead of me sitting there and beating myself up and playing a victim, like, why me? Why is this person treating me this way? Da, 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 da. It turned around and said, at the end of the day, sometimes I will not have the answers on why that person is the way that they are, or why they're treating me this way. I just have to learn how to accept it and understand that the only thing I can control, right, is the way that I'm going to react to certain situations, right? And my perspective and how I'm going to see it. And just let it be. Let it be and let it go. Let it go. Let it go. So it's just like, at the end of the day, right? We are not, your perspective and how you look at failing is really, really important, you guys, because you can go through failures and come out on top, or you can go through failures and stay at the bottom and constantly be in a victim mentality that's just not going to help you to be happy, right? And what really helped for me too when it comes to failure is I started to flip my mindset. When I feel like I'm failing, or when I feel like things are just not going right, and I feel like I'm giving it my all and I feel like I'm still failing, at the end of the day, I have to turn around and say, sometimes in life, the failures that we feel like we're failing is sometimes a blessing, because it's the universe or God or whatever you believe in closing that door and telling you that there's another avenue on what you need to go to. So learn this lesson that you failed on, so you could take that other avenue to get you closer to winning, right? To winning and succeeding, right? So again, perspective is key on how you decide to look at failure, right? If you're gonna look at failure and be in a victim mode, trust me, I've been there. It's only gonna consume you. You're gonna be putting yourself down. You're gonna be beating yourself up, and it's not a happy place to be in, right? It's really not. And we're gonna have times, and I'm saying this because I have times too that we get in that mode, but it's for sure in hell your job and my job to make sure we don't stay there. We do